Okay. After that music turns it off. Replace it with the old standard. The old favorite here. This guy right here. And get rolling. All right, this is the end game, part 3 of the Berezina battle. When I end this, I may do a live, just stay on and do a live cleanup in preparation for the next thing. Not sure what I'm going to do next. Going to be heading out of town for Christmas, so may wait until I get back to decide, but we'll see how that goes. According to my score sheet, looks like it's the French turn. So, that being said, let's let it be the French turn. I only have, let's see, everything is pretty much in the French right now, except for these 2 units here are officially left in the center, and then I have that one lone unit over here, artillery unit on the left. Everything else is on the French right. So I'm going to put 5 dice on the French right and get 1 activation. Here we go again. We'll fire with these grenadiers here, and then the final die I'll put. What's wrong with you there? On the French center, which allows me to activate, so that's cool. Can I do anything? No. Why? No, that's not true. Now I could fire with these guys, which I shall do. I can't really move anybody because of the congestion. I need some sinus aid for the French here. All right, so that'll be the French. If you guys can even see what I'm talking about right here. Let's resolve that, shall we? Grenadiers versus Russian lights. French Grenadiers, standing ranged fire, full strength, is 4 dice. We're going to want 1s, 2s, 6s. We'll take, but we don't really want that. No, look at that. We got a 1, a 2, and a 2, which is 3 hits. This guy has a 3 strength. He's going right out the gate. French with a strong opening move. I don't know if these guys will be able to fire. We'll get to them in a second. Another victory banner for the French, who have really started to rack those things up and just come completely from behind pretty much. So that's awesome. And then let's see this guy here. Do we really want to? Yeah, I mean, we've ordered him to fire, so. That's going to be 2 hex distance. No, 3 hex distance. Probably will result in nothing. What are we firing at here? We're firing at another light unit with a grenadier unit, strength of 3. That's French foot artillery, full strength, standing ranged fire, 3 hex range. That's going to be 2 dice. 2 dice it is. We would like 1s or 2s. Take a 6, another hit. He drops to a 2 and gains 1 more. It's more like a taking fire marker. It really doesn't have much of an effect until you get beyond. We're equal right now, 2 taking fire markers and 2 strength. Once that reaches 3, it'll be above his strength and he will shatter. That's the French turn, not a bad turn, I might add. Now it's the Russians. Russians have their work cut out for them here. I'm going to put 3 on the Russian left and get 1 activation. Start pulling stuff up. This is just out of hand. Let's pull these guys up. I don't even know who they are. Let's go here. And then, whoa, there went a tree. Our first shot of the day. It's 11:30 in the morning on a Sunday, and we're already doing shots. All right, and then 3. Let's put 3 in the center. 5s or 6s? No. So just this unit here, we'll move up 3. 1, 2, 3, healthy move. I'm not doing anybody any good back here. Went ahead and decorated the tree for you guys. Just getting in the Christmas spirit here. Now it's French again. All right, here we go with the crap rolls again. That's going to be 1 on the right. Let's fire with these grenadiers and see if we can get a similar result. Forgot to roll for commander loss. 1s or 2s, please. 2 2s and a 5 doesn't count. So that's 2 hits. Another unit gone. This grenadier unit has been wiped. Another victory banner for the Frenchies. That's some fancy shooting, if I do say so myself. I don't have to worry about him shattering because he is completely skedaddled. I'm not sure how far he can retreat. I'll have to check that. All right. Don't care what you're trying to sell, so we'll skip that in. What are these? I need to see where this leader is going. Leader escape. Leaders retreat 1, 2, or 3 hexes. Okay, so we'll go. Do we want to attach to anybody? Yeah, 1, 2. Let's attach to this light cavalry unit. That'll be our 3 hex move there. Back to the Russians. Let's go with 4 dice on the Russian left. 2 activations, awesome. I'll take it. Grenadiers, pull them up. Line unit. And then 2 in the Russian center. And we get 1 activation. Let's pull these guys across the bridge and be done with that. All right. Let's start with the bridge first here. Let's see what we got. Put them right here. It's a shame the French can't turn that bridge into a choke point. I guess I could if I turn the artillery around. That'll be moving fire there. Let's resolve that. I think that's just going to be 2 dice. line infantry, moving, ranged fire, 3 strength is in fact 2 dice. 4s and 6s, so we got a 6, so that's a retreat. I don't know, where are they going to retreat? Into them? They can't do that, so that's going to be a loss. They'll drop from 3 to a 2 and take one of those handy dandy, what I now call as of today, taking fire counters, which is really better defines what it is, what its purpose is, less so than a disorder marker. And then what did I say? These guys up here, which will move up 1. These guys up here, let's see, Russian Grenadier will move 1 in battle, and then yeah, okay. That's just 1 for you guys. So, can we get within firing range by the end of this turn, or by the end of this session? Seems like it's going to be forever. I'm saying no, probably not. That's a lot of moving. That was the Russians. Back to the French. Can we see what's going on over here? Yeah. French will go, let's see. Let's go with 2 in the center. Actually 3, hoping to get at least 2. And we did, we got 2, awesome. All right, so this unit here and this unit here, we'll try and fire at that unit. And then the other 3 we'll put in the right and get nothing. That sounds about right. So let's go with these guys firing out of the village. Is that light infantry? Awesome. French light infantry, standing range fire, full strength. It's going to be 5, whopping 5 dice. 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. This unit is only 3 strength. 1s or 2s. We got 1 hit. Out of all that, that drops to a 2. He will take a taking fire marker. That is his turn. And then I mean, let's at least turn this car around. I don't want to pull it over, but I'll turn it around there. At least make it look like they're firing where they're supposed to. Let's not be lazy. Line unit, right back at you. That's going to be, should be 4 dice. French line, full strength. Standard range is, yeah, going to be just 4 dice. 1s or 2s, hopefully. We get nothing but a 6. Which puts them back on the bridge. Awesome. That's all that did. Again, all that does for us is put them out of range. Whatever. I guess they're fond of that little bridge. So that will be there with his taking fire marker. All right, so that's the French turn. Back to the Russians. Let's put 3 in the center and get 1 activation. What do we do? Move him back off the bridge? Do we waste our time with that? Let's not actually. Let's start moving him up. Instead of fiddle farting with the stupid half-strength line unit that is a bridge fetish. There. And then the other 3 we'll put on the Russian left. and get nothing. So that's how it goes. French again. So this artillery unit could retreat off board, but we've got only 1,000 units in the way, so that's an issue. I'll put everything. Take that back. Let's see if we can do something with that lone artillery unit over here. I'll put one die at it and get it. Fire at the cavalry, and then we'll put the other 5 on the French right. Healthy roll. It's about time. We got 4 activations. All right. Thank you. We'll be firing with this guy. We'll be moving and firing with this guy. Moving and firing with this guy. What else? We need to clear a path, or do we? Let's move these grenadiers. Let's move these guys out of the way, because actually this unit can retreat. So, in fact, let's go ahead and start moving him. So here's what happens. This guy sachets to the left. This guy pulls back in an effort to exit off the board with his taking fire marker. This unit fires. Full strength line unit, that's 4 dice. 1s and 2s would be nice, but we don't get that. We do get 2 6s. 1 can be ignored because he has an attached leader. The other retreat roll cannot. So he'll just pull back. There's our second shot of him. God sakes. Y'all think I'm doing this on purpose. I swear I'm not. The whole entire woods fell over. Okay, he's done. He takes... No, he doesn't. Does he? Well, it's kind of up in the air on whether or not you get a take fire marker if it's just flags. But that's a hit. That counts as a hit. So let's say yes, he takes a marker. Excuse me. And then all of this seems a little counterproductive for the French, moving away from our objective in an effort to take fire so we can go back the way we came and exit off the board. It just seems a little frustrating. I think it's going to be 2 dice. Since we moved, yes, 2 dice. 1s, 2s, or 6s. We get 1 hit, so he'll drop from a 3 to a 2. We'll take another taking fire marker, 1 more, and he shatters. And I get a flag, but he can ignore that because of the commander. So, could probably also ignore that because he's in the woods. Or did I make that up? Forest. No. Okay, I made that up. All right. So, back to... Nope, we got this lone artillery unit over here that we want to do something with. Once again, Eric, how you doing? Good morning. Hope you had your coffee. Actually, it's like, what? Lunchtime now. So Eric's getting lunch ready, I presume. If you guys haven't, please check his channel out. He does a lot of good stuff. It is of the cardboard variety, but I myself have done much of that in the past, not so much of late. I won't get into why, because I'm not sure why, but I've pretty much gone the miniatures route at this point. A lot of good cardboard out there. Let's see. Or I should say Hex Encounter, because he does more like the digital style. So, 2 strength, foot artillery, firing at some Russian light cavalry cruising by. Should result in something, you would think. Standing range fire. What is he? 2, let's see, range is 2 to 4 blocks is 3 dice. Not bad. And we're going to want 3s or 6s. We did get a 3. So the light cavalry unit, who was typically 4 strength, is now 3 strength, and he'll take a taking fire marker. So there's that. All right, not a whole lot going on there. Okay. That was the French turn with some healthy activations, and then back to the Russians. It's still morning there, so you had your coffee. You were still working on the coffee then. California. Wonder what the weather's like there. We're getting a major cold snap coming through for us in New Orleans here next weekend. It's going to be below freezing, and all my pipes are going to freeze and burst again, which is awesome because everything's above ground here. And the landlord will not weatherize or winterize anything. This happened about 3 years ago. I had about half a dozen pinhole bursts in the pipes, and because these things were so old, as they tried to fix things, it was like whack-a-mole. They kept screwing stuff up in other areas of the plumbing. I don't think the water pressure's been right since, so I'm really looking forward to more of that. All right, here we go. Russian turn. 6 dice. Where? Let's divide it up and put 3 on the Russian left. Get nothing. And 3 on the Russian center. And get 1. For our 1, let's move him up and be done with that. And then looks like the French are getting better at the rolls today. I'm not going to mess with that artillery unit on the left. It's just a waste of time. Let's put everything on the French right. That's just where the bulk of everything is. There's no point in really messing with anything else. What do we get for our trouble? We get half our activations, so that's 3. We can pull him back. We can fire. Wow, what a shot. It's like a cannonball. We can fire him. And, you know what? Let's create a choke point. The Russians did it. Now let's let the French do it. If we pivot the foot artillery, and go this way, we can accomplish that now. Let's just go ahead and see how it feels, huh? You guys didn't mind it when you were doing it to us. So why can't we do it? That should be, let's see here. Foot artillery, 2 to 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3 hex range is 2 dice. And we get, we needed a 1, a 2, or a 6. We got a hit. So he drops to 1. He takes another taking fire marker, which pushes him over the edge, causes him to shatter. He is now doing nothing but freaking out on the bridge. Won't be able to do anything until he rallies, and we've created a log jam here because nobody else can come over until they rally. So that was awesome. Some fine strategy. Then we'll head back to this guy, pull him back 1 more. He is now on the threshold of exiting. And this pleases greatly. And then these guys here. The other problem with all this weather coming and the pipes probably freezing, et cetera, is I won't be here to even deal with it. I've already purchased the plane ticket to go visit St. Louis. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'll figure it out. Come home to a mess, I suppose. Line infantry unit. I don't believe he moved. I've been jibber jabbering. So that'll be 4 dice. No, it won't. Firing in the woods. Have I not taken that into account? I think I forgot. Let's see. Battle effects. Yeah, it's going to be 3 dice since we're firing in the woods. 1s, 2s, or 6s. I don't want 6s, but there's a hit. So from a 2 to a 1, and he is now shattered. Can do nothing until he rallies. If you're wondering what that monster is in the background, it's the neighbor's vacuuming. So I live in a shotgun house split on either side, and I live on one side and my neighbor's on the other. And you can just hear everything. So they've decided to vacuum. I'm glad they're clean at least. That's the French. Let's go back to the Russians. Do you do any, Eric, you do any designing or fiddling in that respect with things? Or do you just straight play like you're supposed to? Like a good boy's supposed to? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do same deal. 3 in the Russian center and get an activation. Hopefully rally him so we can get him his hinder over the bridge, and then 3 on the Russian left and get nothing. So the Russian horrid activation rolls continue. All right, for the activation, or I'm sorry, for the rally, it's a 10-sided die. You want 1 to 5. I won't benefit from any modifiers. I don't have any support. I don't have an attached commander. And they failed it. So they're stuck there. All right, whatever. So that's that. And then it's the French turn. So just like that, the Russians not showing much metal this go around. Let's do the French then. I'll put 1 on the French center, get nothing. And then the rest. So again, as a reminder, just for those of you that are curious, you designate beforehand which section you want to roll for. Decide how many dice to roll. Whatever you get, that's that. If you get all activations, fantastic. If you get none, you have to go to another section. And again, you must designate each section before you roll. So now I designate the French right. That leaves 5 dice because the one in the center failed. Let's roll our 5 and get 2 activations. Let's see if we can finish this guy off. I think the Russians, it's a maneuvering that has cost them here. And let's pull him off. That's really what it amounts to, because they have a distinct advantage in manpower, but haven't been able to pull it together and coordinate well. I've got stuff scattered all over the board that is doing the Russians no good. All over the place. Meanwhile, the French are exiting and just death by 1,000 cuts on the Russians there. We will fire with 3 dice again there at the soon to be gone light infantry in the woods. Would be 4, but they're in the woods. 1s or 2s, we got it. They're gone. Another French victory banner. I think we may have passed the Russians at this point. This may have been the best French turn yet, as far as all these results. That was a light infantry unit we just chewed up. He's gone. Was shattered anyway. And roll for commander. Disappearance. 2 5s. He's gone. 6 and a 2. He's not gone. All right. So he pulls 1, 2. Let's attach him to the artillery here for now. Is that it? That's it. Did we get a victory banner for? I don't think we did. Queue up a victory banner for retreating. I run out of them. I'll have to use that. All right, let's tally up the banners real quick. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's like about a dozen victory banners for the French. should be about that for the Russians. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, they have what was at one point 2-1 advantage in victory banners for the Russians. The French have now tied it up. So they've really come from behind to make a statement. That was yet another effective French turn. Let's try and respond with something here as the Russians. I don't know what to do. Everything's so scattered. It's going to take forever to get where I need it to go. Oh, we got a rare commercial in the background. Look at that. I've been discovered. That is not my house. I've already told you guys that it's not my house. I don't know who that guy was. I made him leave. Let's see. 3. 3 on the Russian left. Out of the trade. 1 activation. We'll pull these grenadiers up. And then 3 in the Russian center. What I was going to say is I'll go for about another half hour and then call it. As far as a victor, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the French may be able to pull this off. The Russians just have not coordinated and done what they need to do to effectively prevent the French from doing much of anything. Right here. Let's try and rally this guy again. 1 to 5. He rolled a 9. Not happening. Stuck on the bridge. And then this unit up here. We'll plod along, slowly but surely. This grenadier unit. Can't call it now because we were tied, so we at least need a tiebreaker. But I'm feeling like the Russians will not be able to do what they need to do to secure a victory. Looks like the French are going to sift through their hands. Speaking of, let's put 1 in the French center and get nothing. And then the rest of them on the French right. And do what? We have nobody in range. I can't exit anybody. This is just retarded. 5 units on the right. And look at all these activations we get. 4 of them. 4 activations for the French. To do what? I don't even know to do what. And that's the French right. I've got nobody that... So the least I can do is move them and do moving fire if I move into this hex here. That's 1. And this is the French right. They're not in the French right, so I can't activate them. I can't activate them and move them. What am I supposed to do? I guess I'll move this guard light cavalry up. Head for this town. I don't really want to be in that town, though. It just brings me further. Again, it brings me further away from my ultimate goal, which is to exit off this right flank here. So it's a conundrum, a bit frustrating. I wonder if the French can do self-inflicted casualties in order to exit off the board. Will that count? Because I can't exit if I'm full strength. I think whoever created this scenario had a few drinks. Let's see, 2 dice at the chaps on the bridge. Give me 1 hit. Just give me 1 hit. Look at that. We got 2 hits. They're done. Moving fire. Knocked them out. Knocked them right off the bridge. A shattered unit hanging out up there and just got wiped out. Sad state of affairs. That is an official tiebreaker. I'm not going to call it yet, though. But that is a tiebreaker. And then what did I want to do? So We actually have created a choke point. How about that? We turned the tables on the Russians and did to them what they've done to us. Cavalry screen up here in the front for whoever decides to approach. And these guys here. And these guys here. This is one of the few systems or games that I can actually just roll through and play and focus on strategy and tactics. There's a lot of games out there that you're interrupted by rules complexities, looking things up, learning the game, etc., etc. I don't have that problem with this, and I shouldn't. It's a fairly simple system. But it's a rarity in my world because, again, there's most of the time I'm interrupted. Did I not move him? By what I was just talking about. So, not the case with this. Maybe that's why I enjoy it. I can actually play the thing. And there's probably a contradiction in there somewhere, but that's life. Life's full of contradictions. Russian turn. I don't know what the hell they can do. Let's review. Ton of stuff over here. You can only cross at the bridge. I mean, 3/4 of that is never going to get where it needs to get in time to be in any effect. We've got a few units along here that could funnel across a bridge and, I don't know what, help the French out by creating casualties and allowing them to retreat. And then we've got the Russian left, which is a similar issue. They're so far back they can't cause any problems, but that doesn't work necessarily to the French advantage because we need to take casualties. This is so weird. So weird. I'm putting everything in the Russian right. They can't exit until they take casualties, and all these guys are full strength. This is in the scenario of special rules. Full strength French units cannot exit. So it creates a problem because the Russians won't get off their butts and come over and help me out and shoot me up. So the French are stuck. I've got to either move and towards the Russians in the hopes of getting casualties to come back and exit, or wait for the Russians to approach and do nothing. I suppose I could do nothing. I don't know. 6 dice. We get 2 activations. Whatever. I'm firing with this artillery. And I'm countercharging with it light cavalry. That's what I'm doing. That's something. So we'll fire, what is that, Russian foot at guard light cavalry. Full strength. And pre-battle Mother Russia roll, which means you add 1 die. So that is going to be foot artillery, another commercial on the TV. I'm going to have to not use this channel. So back to, there's my living room. Came back. What am I doing? Foot artillery at 1, 2, 3x range. So that would be 2 dice, but we add 1 for the pre-battle Mother Russia. It makes 3 dice. We want 3s. 6s don't help us. We get A3. So that should be what, a 4 strength. Yeah, guard light cavalry is 4 strength, drops to a 3. Accrues a taking fire marker, which has no effect at this point. And then we're gonna, what else did I say? This could be interesting. 1, 2, we're gonna charge this unit here. Light cavalry versus guard light cavalry. Let's see what the result of that is. Right here. Russian light cavalry will give us full strength, 4 dice. That's pretty good. Okay, let's go. 3s. We got 1, 3, and a 6. I think they can ignore that 6. Oh, and a 5. So that's 2 hits and a flag. The 2 hits drops them to a 1, which is tied, but they're taking fire marker, but they just took more, so that officially makes them shatter. And the 6 can be ignored probably because of who they are. I'm guessing guard light cavalry. Yeah, they can ignore that flag, so that has no play. But they did shatter, so they can't battle back. So that unit's almost gone. Well, they can retreat now, which is what I wanted, right? So French again. 5, 6. Put it all on the right. I don't know why I gotta bother moving the camera. That's 2 activations. Let's see if we can. We can't. We gotta rally them before. Jesus. Choices. 2 activations. Let's fire with this line unit and try and rally the guard light cavalry. And they should get a guard light cavalry gets. They can ignore 2 flags, which means on our 1 die 10, needing 1 to 5, we subtract 2 and roll a 10, which gives us an 8. That's terrible. That's just terrible. We can fire with those guys there. 4 dice coming at the light cavalry unit there. We're going to want 3s or 6s. We got no 3s and 1 6. Which can be ignored because they have an attached commander, so that's the end of that. Russian turn. Gee, I wonder what they're going to do. They're going to pump 6 dice into their left flank and knock out that guard light cavalry unit, probably. Just a hunch. With their 1 activation, wow. The misery continues for the Russians. They really dropped the ball. I mean, they were. It looked like a home run there in the first and even the second video, but they're really just screwing up now. Let's see if they mess this up. That is how many dice again? Light cavalry, Russian. 4 dice. One of these is a 3. That guard light cavalry unit is gone, or a 5. Got a 5. So the Russians have tied it up again, knocking that unit out. And we have a breakthrough. Well, that's not good. He just broke off. I gotta fix that. We have a cavalry breakthrough here, which means a bonus attack is what it means. What's that mean, Jason? It means a bonus attack. Against this unit here, it'll cause him to form square, and now the Russians have suddenly created a few problems for the French, because in making them form a square, we, if you remember, lose 1 activation die as the French. So the French get 1 initial response for that. They're now square. Let's see if they can bounce that cavalry unit off with a flag. They cannot. They cannot get a hit. They cannot do anything. And say, Wally, why don't we form a square? Aesthetics. Look at that. They should have been called rectangles instead of squares, because that's always what they ended up looking like historically, but they called them squares. And 1 die back at the square. Rabble rousing square. So that's our result. What do we do next? Any ideas? That was a Russian turn. Let's go with 5 dice, which is all we have to use right now because of that stupid square. On the French right, Russians have just tied it up again. When we get 2 activations, we'll fire with these, and we'll fire with these. Done. So you see how we're kind of like, Russia sends up, and again, it's because of the way the initial setup has affected things, but they can only move up a few units at a time, and when they do, they just get churned up. Just the French are just waiting for them like a meat grinder. So we'll have, I believe, 4 dice. Grenadier unit there is 4 dice. We're going to be looking at 3s, no 6s for God's sakes. So we got a hit, and they'll get a take fire marker. That should put them as 3 strength. I'll check that, or a 2 strength. They can ignore that flag because they have an attached commander. That unit is light cavalry. He is a 4 strength. So it just drops to a 3 strength. Commander casualties since they took a hit. Never works out. 6 and a 3, as expected. 4 dice coming from this line infantry unit here. Again, we would like 3s. I'm not too fond of 6s these days. Another hit there. Now he goes to a 2 strength, and he now has an equal amount of taking fire markers. So 1 more taking fire marker causes him to shatter. And we switch to the Russians. Now what do we want to do? Well, let's put 3 dice in a rare 3 dice in the Russian center here. And get 1 activation. Let's say, what's your strength? Let's move him up to the foot of the bridge. This half strength, potentially useless unit. And then 3 dice on the Russian left. And get nothing. So that's that. Back to the French. You see how that works? Life's not fair, I guess. 5 dice on the French right. We'd like to do 6, but we have a unit in square now, so deduct 1 activation die and get 3 activations. I'll take it. We'll fire here, here, and here, and probably be done with that unit at some point, I presume. Let's start with this unit here. 4 dice, looking for 3s, getting no 3s, getting no 6s, getting nothing. So he's done. Then firing here, Grenadiers, another 4 dice. Want 3s. Got nothing. I got a 6, which can be ignored. And then the square can fire 1 die and get a 3. Which is now shattered that unit. Still 2 strength though. What's the time now? 10 more minutes on this and then we'll call it, because it's just, technically we could just go on and on. I feel like it would go back and forth, and slowly Russian units would funnel across the bridge. Russian left flank would move up into what has turned out to be a bit of a meat grinder. And pendulum would swing back and forth, but I feel like that only works to the French advantage, because once you take a hit, what would typically be a bad thing turns into a good thing because then you can exit off the board. So I feel like the French have got the advantage here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 dice in the Russian center. 1 activation. That's enough to put this guy on the bridge. I'm not even sure what the point is. Because look what's waiting for him, a full strength French line unit just sitting there waiting. So it's like, why? He's done. And then 3 dice on the Russian left. And we got 1 activation there. Let's try and rally this guy. He's in bad shape there. 1 to 5, -1 for attached leader. He got a 4, which makes a 3, which means he has rallied. So he's now back to just half strength. That's the Russian turn. Back to the French. We will put 2 in the French center and get 1 activation. That's perfect. And then the other 3 on French right and get 1 activation. Fire with these grenadiers. So let's resolve this first. We've got 4 dice heading into that line unit, half strength on the bridge. 1s, 2s, don't want 6s. I got 1 hit and a flag. So they drop to a 1 and retreat back across the bridge. See, this is the deal here. And it states in the scenario rules that when you hit that bridge, it doesn't matter who you are, what you're capable of, or what you think of yourself. You're required to sit on that bridge for a turn. Then you can complete crossing it. And that 1 turn that you're forced to sit on the bridge is pretty much, it dooms you. So I don't know that any of these units over here for the Russians will have any effect at any point in this game now that it's gotten to this point, which leaves, and you can't cross that river anywhere but the bridge. So that just leaves the Russian left, which is thinning out because they can't move up en masse. Better die roll activations would help, but it's looking more and more like a French victory. So I'm indifferent. I'm not neither joyful or lamenting that, but 4 dice for the Grenadiers. We want 3s. Give us 3s for Christmas. Santa is real. We just got 3 3s. This unit's going. Grenadiers lit them up. And that's that. Another French victory banner. I've lost track of who is what. I probably have French advantage here. And see that's how it's going for the Russians. That's just how it's been going. 2 5s and that leader's gone, which never has yet to happen. Look at that. You see this? This is the first time on camera I have proof that it's 2 5s. We've lost a Russian commander, so things are just going from bad to worse for the Russians. He's going. And you might add, well, what's the point? What does it matter if you lose a commander in this game? They don't really do anything. Well, that's not true. They can help you rally, and they can help you ignore retreat results. And boy, howdy, I can add a lot more functions to them with some house rules, but I'm trying to be good about that. May do so in the next installment. That was the French turn. Where are we at now? About 5 more minutes of this. I don't know what the Russians can do. I don't know what they can do. Roll 6 dice and hope for the best. This is all going to the Russian left. 6 dice, 2 activations. That's not good enough. That's just not going to do it. It's not going to do it. 2 activations. And then we have another commercial there. Who activated it? And we're so far back, and again, this is not a result of my, or maybe it is. Maybe I should have been moving them up all along instead of waiting. But they started this far back, and it's a real problem. It's a real issue. I don't even know what the point is anymore. They're not going to move up in time. That's it. That's the best we can do as the Russians here. Why does he even have... Oh, he must have started under strength. Okay. Some of the Russian units as well did start the game under strength. I forgot about that. Doesn't affect them really, other than they're under strength. They're not exiting or anything like that. So we'll do one more French turn and one more Russian turn and call it. So here's the final French turn. Let's put a couple. Oh, he can come out of square now. So we can get our full 6 dice. No more adjacent cavalry unit. He can come out of square, which probably should be an activation to do so, but I just pull them out. They can't do anything anyway. Let's do 3, 2 in the Russian. I'm sorry, 2 in the French center. Really hoping just for that one unit and missed it. So what I was hoping to do was activate them, move them up, and then do moving fire at that unit there across the bridge. Didn't happen. That leaves 1, 2, 3, 4 dice for the French right. Don't know what the hell I'm going to do with these 4 dice. Get 1 activation for starters. Move him up. And final Russian turn. All I feel like I'm doing as the Russians is doing favors for the French by causing casualties. Let's just forget that. We'll focus on the Russian left for their final turn. All 6 dice. And get... So here's another problem for the Russians. The rolls for their activations, I know I've already said this 100 times, but it's really glaringly painful at this point. 6 dice, we get 1 activation. Now, we could just as easily get 6 activations, but it doesn't happen. We get 1. Moving fire there, and that's all we can do. I'll roll it just to roll it, but it's a Russian Grenadier unit. Full strength, moving fire. It's just 2 dice. Can you get 1s or 2s or 6s? No, can't get anything with 3 or 4. So that's that. Let's add up our victory banners. French should have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 for the French. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 for the Russians. So it was close, but I feel like things were slowly more and more tilting in the French favor. So to recap, and I don't know if I already said this, but the initial setup here, I feel like it didn't seem like it when I looked at it initially, but it favors the French. You've got a lot of Russian stuff outnumbering the French, but it's all positioned such that time is of the essence. And if you're not, well, there's a decision, right? So do you spend your activations on moving everybody up, or do you spend your activations on the ones that are within range, trying to knock out what's in range? The only real problem for the French is waiting for the Russians to get to you to inflict damage so you can exit. That's really the only... I thought getting across this bridge would be an issue. It only was to an extent, again, because the Russians didn't bring enough stuff to bear against that point. Now, they had, for a little while, a little choke point there, but really needed to focus a lot more firepower on this key area right here. Just didn't do enough. And then the rolls. I mean, especially this go around, the rolls, activation rolls for the Russians just sucked completely. French did pretty good, and I don't know how many units French-wise were able to exit. I wasn't keeping good track of that, a fair amount, but that's it. French. I'll call it a French victory. We could keep going on, but it would just be a similar result, I feel like. So there you go. Yeah, long term works out great for the French because that's more units that can live to fight another day that have escaped, etc. I'll let this roll in case anybody has any questions or comments or just wants to chit chat while I straighten up the table. And then I'll kill it. And this time I'm going to pull everything off the board until I decide what to do next. I'm leaning towards pulling out the 28 mil stuff. I may yet do that. Still not sure. Got to fix this Frenchie that popped off. Lancer. You go back on your home. All right. Thus begins the dreaded cleanup. Actually goes pretty quick. I predict. How long will this take? I predict. I feel like I could do this in 30 minutes. It'll probably be 45 minutes. What's the easiest way to do this? So I've got this shelf that just comes off. I've already shown you guys this in another video. All these shelves, they each just pop off. I bring it over and I load it up. So that's how I proceed and hopefully not knock everything off. I'll put the leaders on last. These guys here and these guys here. Organizing said shelf. I'll be on camera in a second. Line unit here. Still hoping Warlord decides to come out with the Russians and Austrians. I don't know why they wouldn't. I know it's not. The whole deal is epic Waterloo. I understand that. But I mean, we've already gone this far. Ooh, another commercial. Or did we lose it completely? No, commercial. And I'm hoping they come out with the Russians before the Austrians. Well, I'll take either one. Whatever they come out with, I'll beef up and be cutting and basing. Hopefully, early next year, I'll be cutting and basing either Austrians or Russians. Some light units here. The other thing about this, you can just move the shelf wherever you need to move it to load stuff up. I'll be coming to the other side eventually. I've still got stuff over here to pull off behind camera. I know one of the excuses people use is not to get into miniatures is the space, and I suppose that's an argument to an extent. Because it does, you need the space to play, you need the space to store. I get all that. But the storage thing really is you can't use that as an excuse because that's easily achieved. You either do the shelf thing or you get the plastic bins they got nowadays. You just pretty much find anything you want and fit it in there. So there you go, and then just pick in place. This is how you clean the table of troops. Any requests? Any requests for Napoleonic battles? Anything you guys would enjoy seeing? We've done 2 Russian versus French stuff. We did ILO and we did this Berezina. I haven't done anything with the British in a while. And I've already said that red is just so red, man. The color that they were molded in. I even took and painted over that red. It was just so bright, but it's still just like so red. I guess I just need to get over it. So I tend to use these guys more because they're a lot more pleasing to the eye, the darker color. So I'm going to lighten it here. I'll check the comments in a second and see if anybody's had any questions. Maybe I will get the 28 mils out. I'm yet to bump or completely drop one of these shelves full of guys, which wouldn't be the end of the world, but it'd be interesting to see how they fare as far as popping off of bases, broken bayonets, etc. Never say never. I'll probably do it at some point. Drop one of these boards. I'll send everything flying. In other news, I do have Napoleon Total War. I bought that on Steam for the computer probably a year ago or less. And I'm not much of a video game person or a PC game person. But every once in a while, I just try and make sure I'm not, and then I realize, yeah, I'm not. But with this Total War thing, I guess I'm so bad at this. I can't get through the tutorial. I can't even get through. There's an initial tutorial where the French have to take this British fortress. I can't do it. But I've tried half a dozen times. I don't know what the problem is. Probably because I don't play stuff like that, so I'm not used to the thinking like that, or I don't know what. So there that sits. I also have Conflict of Heroes in digital form. I probably played that once, never touched it again. It's just that stuff just doesn't do it for me for whatever reason. I just prefer to play, but we're going to run out of room here. Now, I did have to make more stands to flesh out the few most recent scenarios I did. But I think we're going to not have enough room. That's all the infantry. Yeah, I think I can fit the artillery if I do it in a weird way. I go like this, which I don't know. It's not my favorite, but we got to fit everything on here. Need bigger shelves. Need more space. Space is an issue. Okay, so it is. Look at all this. He's watching me put all this stuff on the shelf. This is all stuff that the Russians could have used that didn't. This whole area over here was just wasted. Just a big waste. Now I wonder, maybe I'm giving this scenario less credit than it deserves because historically, if I recall, Russian commanders didn't trust Napoleon. They were suspect of him. They always felt like he had something up his sleeve, and that worked to his advantage. So their caution in not throwing everything at Napoleon during his retreat from Moscow reflects that, right? They just didn't trust him. We throw everything at him and he's gonna spring a trap. So I mean they could have wiped him out. But elected not to do so because the cautious commanders. Correct me on that for those of you that know better than I, if I am inaccurate in any way there. But I do seem to remember reading that. I feel like we're missing some commanders. Yep, there's one commander over here. Oh, there's still more infantry. I'm going to fit all this. Well, I have another shelf above that was reserved for the next nationality. I'll just have to start using it. So can I put this back without dropping it? Here's the moment of truth. It looks like I can. Here's the shelf that was reserved for either the Russians or the Austrians. It's just going to have to fill up with excess Prussians. That's who these are. This is the Russian stunt double. Russian stunt double. Just a ton of cavalry that didn't get used. I mean, this is all glaringly become glaringly apparent enough now while cleaning this up, just how much stuff the Russians did not use in the scenario. So, another commercial. Great. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And another commercial. I think it was Todd chimed in and said, that's a great idea to use a computer screen. It's not. It's a gigantic TV. It's not a computer screen. It is an oversized TV screen, which if you go about from my knee to about my clavicle, it's that high. In fact, they should use that as official measurements for things. How much for the TV that is knee to clavicle height? So because I'm anal, all the cavalry needs to be together. We have some cavalry and some infantry, and then over here we would have had some cavalry and some infantry, and I would have lost sleep over that. So this has to go, this infantry can now go with the rest of the infantry. There we go. They're all one happy family again. And I still have, this is stuff that I bothered to cut and base. I still have oodles of things that are in boxes that I haven't gotten to with this epic stuff. So the scenarios, I find these are, I've got all of the commands and colors core and expansion set, so I get them from there. But also, if you go to Commands and Colors Napoleonics.net, you can find them there for free, available. And they're great. They're ready to go. They're easily, as mentioned before, they're easily modified for whatever system you favor. So, yeah. All right, now the French. We'll probably have to do the same with the French and load up another shelf. Because I don't know if I'm going to have room. It was the Eylau scenario that really had me beefing up the troops. I mean, a lot of stuff. And we need to keep the old guard separate from the line infantry. Why do I have one unit that's missing somebody? These are old guard, right? And these are line. I don't know, that's weird. Is here. Commanders. I've got a ton of skirmishers. I haven't done anything with the skirmishers that come with this stuff. I've based just a few French skirmishers just to see how it would look. But with this miniature stuff, when it comes to skirmishers, I feel like they kind of cancel each other out. Both sides have skirmishers when it comes to most systems and how they deal with it. That's what I feel like. Is it you? Is that why you are missing? You need to go there. I'm sure this is a rip-roaring thing to watch, but let's go here. I feel like I'm missing some old guard. I guess I'm not. I feel like I am, though. I may have used some old guard for light infantry. I think that's what it is. Little as these guys are, I mean, you can barely tell on the table who's what. So it shouldn't matter that much. But again, I'm OCD, so everything has to be a certain way. I don't want my old guard mixed with my line. I don't like it. And these guys here. I'm not as bad as it could be, though, because some of these guys have great coats on and some don't. I had at one point considered dividing those up, but again, you really can't tell at this scale unless you get right up to it. There. So this is taking longer than it typically would because I didn't keep very good track of who was what, and I kind of intermixed things because I needed extra guys. So it should still be a little guard here, guard here. There. Got some of these leaders mounted on poker chips because it allows you to differentiate fairly easily between leaders for different leaders of different quality. Although I haven't really incorporated that of late. It's something I intended to do, so I just kind of kept with it. So like this guy's on a red poker chip, some on a white, a green poker chip. And it's just an easy visual aid to, again, differentiate between qualities of leaders. I got some dismounted dragoons that I did just to see if I could. I had to kit bash those to make those. Came out pretty nice. I think if I'm going to kit bash anything else, it would be horse limbers for the artillery. Those always look fairly nice in the field, hanging back. So now I need to go over there. All right, here we go. And let's put this where I need to put it. All these little houses I printed off online and put together. They're just cardstock houses. That should be good right there. Alright. And then I still haven't eaten yet today, so I don't know what I'm going to eat. Decisions. These should all be old guard that I used for light. Why do I need it here? For God's sakes. More room for the guard. There's some guard cavalry for the French that's available, but it's resin, it's not plastic, and I hate resin. There is a difference. You will come to dislike it as well. Anybody that enters the miniatures foray. It's like bendy. It feels like bendy, like a bendy kid's chew toy or something. I can't do it. More commercials. What do they want us to buy this time? They want us to buy a car. Okay. No. Not buying a car. And this guy here. And Mike. Some more guard. Guard are easy to pick out of the crowd because of their big bearskin hats. And the gold eagle, but only one stand has a gold eagle, so. It's one of the few things I painted on these guys was the gold eagles for the guards. I've considered it. I've thought about it, coming up with a way to speed paint these guys just to get a little depth to them. But probably won't happen. Because I know how I am, and once I start, I won't be able to stop until every single thing is painted. And you guys will have to listen to me whine and complain about how I hate painting. And how miserable I am. So why do it, right? That's why I'm not going to do it. I'm happy to let anybody paint them that wants to. You can come by and paint all these little doodads, and I'll let you. I just don't see myself doing it. There. I feel like I'm missing some guard chaps. Yeah, I'm not going to have enough on here for the French either, I don't think. Not after that Isla scenario. There's some more artillery here. We're getting there. I guess I hate cleaning up more than anything. Setting up I enjoy almost as much as playing. But the cleanup thing is just like a necessary evil. It's not my favorite. I feel like I'm creating or accomplishing anything. Another commander. And another commander. It's a lot of folks, though. It's a pretty good sized little army here. So yeah, I don't know how, but I'm missing a guard unit to fill for that unit there. Where the hell it's at? I guess we'll turn up at some point. Pretty much run out of room. Oh, another commander, hey. These guys over here. So yeah, I'm gonna need that shelf again. Can we lift this without? You guys might see a disaster. Just bumping it would be a disaster. Back on the shelf. And pull this guy back. And finish up. Ooh. Merely a poker chip. Merely a poker chip that fell. Everything's fine. Although I would like to know where my spare guard company is. There. I'll have to search for him off camera. No, that's not them. Somebody's mixed in with something. I'll find it. In fact, I'll do that off camera. I'm not going to make you guys suffer through that. As soon as I get these guys on here, I'll kill it. I can't imagine y'all want to continue to watch this. I think I found my old guard, though. Alright, guys, I don't know if we'll talk again before Christmas or not. It's hard to say. But I think that's it. Possibly I may have a video of me setting something up for the next deal. Otherwise, nothing. So that's how we'll play it. All right, thank you for watching. There's your battlefield post miniature clashing. Hope everybody has a great Christmas if I don't talk to you before then. And yeah, be safe, be nice to each other. We'll talk soon.